Today we'll talk about the class and objects. This is a big topic of object-oriented programming. So let me first remove the previous code. In the previous lessons we have learned about the methods. Methods in this lessons will be needed to understand what's the class and object. So first of all, in order to work with class, we need to create separate class by tap right button and the tap new, and the right here, tap here class, and we'll just create new class with the name of car. So look at here, the name, we have created the class, public class, name it car. Here the class will play roles as a blueprint or template. The defined properties or attributes and behaviors. In the behaviors we'll write the methods that object of that class will have. So first of all, I will write here what kind of attributes these objects will have. For example, I will write private string brand. Of course, all these objects should have the brand. Then I will create another private member variable string. We'll call it member variable string model. And we need one more property, which is the int the year this car will produce it. Then I need to write one more thing, which is called constructor. I will explain what's the constructor. In order to create constructor, it should be the same name as the class name, and we need to write the keywords of public. So here we need to use all member variables which we created before: string brand, string model, and the int year. Then here I will write this brand equal to brand, one bottom line below here, this model, which is equal to model, this year equal to year. So here, why do we need this constructor? So constructor, it's used to initialize the variable, the brand, model, year variables when the car object is created here in the main class. So that's why we need this constructor. Then let me write here the behavior of this class. In the behaviors we'll use the methods. So let's call these methods type of void, which doesn't return any value. We need to write void, and let's write here engine. It doesn't take any parameters, but here I will write the statement of system out println. And here I will write start engine. Then I will write local variable brand and model. So let's imagine this car will have behavior of the behavior of start engine. What next? Then we'll write here start engine methods, and let me write here the one more methods. For example, which will get result public string. We'll call it get brand, for example. Which will return brand. One more getter methods, string get model. It will return model. So let me first comment here, explain how the constructor and the methods is working. So after I have created class is played as a role of blueprint or template that define properties. So in our case, we define properties like brand, model, and the year. So in real we have, for example, car, and in real it should have some brand and model and the year which is produced. It's logic, yes. Then we need to identify the of this class behavior. So here in the behavior it should play some role, and here it should just print it. We will just ourselves identify the role which will print it as brand and model. Then it describes this class is just describes the object of that class will look like and what it can do. So in our case it can print the brand and the model of this class, and the properties of the class, as I said before, it's represented by member of variables or fields. You can call it variables or fields, and these variables hold the state or data associated with each object of the class. And the behaviors, these behaviors of that class are represented by methods. It's defined by methods, and methods represent the actions or operations that can be performed by object of this class. And why do we need class here, and why created it's separate from the main methods? So first of all, from the constructor, from the standard, it's very useful and effective just to see how it's built logically and build the same. We can do it, we can write here in the class, but I think it will be more confusing. So in the standard, in the infrastructure, in IT industry, they use it. It's easy to create it separately. So that's why we'll create it separately and name it and give the name as a car. So by creating class, we can encapsulate related data and behavior, this all data and behavior together, just making it easy to manage and reuse the code. So now let's come to the objects. What's the object actually? Objects is the instance of class. So in order to create objects, we need to just first give the name as the same as class name, and here it's our name given for our object. So now we can call to our car class through our objects by car with small words. Then after we write new, car is initialized our constructor. Here it's initialized our constructor, and we should give this all parameters like string model, and integer year. So for example, here let's write, for example, Toyota, the name of this brand. Then here let's write Camry model, and let it be 2023, the year when it's produced. So this is the principle of working constructor. After we write new, we just initialize all these variables. Exactly here we'll initialize these variables, and we'll just give these parameters to our constructor, and here it will initialize it inside of this class and will be stored as a result in our object of car. Okay, then objects have their own unique states and behavior. Here it's behavior of this object, and it represents specific entity or thing based on the characteristic defined by its class. Objects have their own unique states. Objects are created using the new keyword here, followed by constructor, which is a special method used to initialize the objects. Each object has its own separate memory space, allowing us to have different states while following the same class structure, and we can create multiple objects from the single class, and each object can be modified independently. So we can create the more objects by using car. For example, I can write here car1, for example. We can create, we can use, we can manage with multiple objects, and here I will just give the another variables another value. For example, let it be here, for example, Ford, and I don't know actually what kind of model we have in the Ford, so just write here and am I right or not, Mustang, is it model of the Ford, and write here, for example, 2022. So here we just created two objects. One is car and the second one is car1. And now let's implement their behavior. In order to implement the methods of start engine, we need to first call to the objects by car, then dot, and right here start engine. Start engine. Now we can just run it. We do some mistake, so let's implement again. Look at here, start engine, Toyota and Camry. Look at here, Toyota and Camry model. Then we can add here, for example, our year. Right here, produce it in, for example, and add here year. We can perform again now with the year which we give in the constructor, 2023. The same logic with the car1 objects. Start engine, perform, you see that's another object which Ford and Mustang produced in 2022. So that's all about the cars and the objects, and we can use here additional methods like getter and setter. So why do we need these methods? It will help us to update the value and take the value, the different value. So for example, here we can just use get methods. It's like method getter methods that returns value of the name variable. For example, I will open this comment. Here we can just take access to separate values. For example, I will write here car and our methods get brand. I will take only one value, for example get brand here, and let me write here get model. So let's implement it. We need to print it in order to get results. System out println open round brackets. The same thing with this get model. I will copy this, paste it here. I miss it. So look at here, I will take access to separate parameters like name and the brand and the model. You see why do you need these getter methods? It just return the value. The special value here is just return brand in the case if you use get brand methods. In the case if you use getters get model, it will return model, the value of model. Now I want to show you another methods which is called setter methods. The setter methods is used to update the value of the name of this variable. So in order to write here, we just need to start with the public. So in that case, we use the type of void methods. We actually don't need return any value. We need just to set the value. So here I will write set brand, and I need to text parameter brand, since I need to update it. So that's why I need to take one parameter here, this brand with brand which I will give from the main methods. So look at here, we will create one more setter methods, and I will use here. So now I will change the value of our brand of Toyota. Set brand, and inside of within the open brackets I need to give the member variable of string, since our setter methods it takes one parameter type of string. So here, for example, I will write here example Lexus. Then let's check it. Is it updated our value of our brand of our object of car or not? So look at here, it was before Toyota, then after we'll use our set methods here, now it's updated to Lexus. You see, yes. So the same thing we can do with the model. For example, model here. I write here model, and here model. Now, what kind of model we know from Lexus? So let it be, for example, Lexus GS, for example. Then I will return this value. Lexus Camry. Actually, it shouldn't be set brand, it should be set model. Now you see Lexus, now it's updated, and GS. These are our methods of our behaviors of car objects. Update to member value, update the Toyota and the Camry. So that's all for today.